The Business Bully podcast is being brought to you by Audible. With over 180,000 titles to choose from, Audible is the best choice for you to get information into your head so that you can get it out into your business. Also, the Business Bully podcast is being brought to you by Activate Your Launch. My girl Keena Brown at Activate Your Launch is going to help make the process of launching your product or service very easy for you. She's going to help you plan. And if you act right now by going to bit.ly/launchbullypromo, again, bit.ly/launchbullypromo, you can get a free complimentary strategy session, and it's going to be awesome. Including Business Bully podcast listeners are going to get a step-by-step action plan, so you're going to be on point and ahead of the game. All right, without any further ado, because we got a big show coming right now, let's get this thing started.
Hey, I'm here for the big show.
He's been an award-winning media personality and producer. As a speaker, he's empowered over 1 million people from the stage. Now, one of the leading brand experts and business coaches in the U.S. is bringing his unique brand of straight talk to the world of on-demand audio. It's the Business Bully Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And now, here's the Business Bully himself, David Anderson.
Welcome to the Business Bully Podcast. I am Dave Anderson. Hope all is well in your world, because I'm telling you, it is awesome in mine. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to feel this. This is an extremely important show. Thanks for everybody who is listening on allhiphop.com. It's absolutely amazing for me to be here and do what I do. A lot of things happening in and out of the world, but one thing is extremely important, and I want you guys to get online and get involved right now. You know how people were doing the Ice Bucket Challenge? Well, we're doing a thing called the Buy Black Challenge. So what that is you go and you buy black and you post it on social media using the hashtag Buy Black Challenge. Also use the hashtag The Business Bully. And what's going to happen is you're going to go show somebody your receipt from when you were buying black, and then you challenge at least 3 other people so that they can go out and support a black-owned business. This is going to be an amazing situation, man, and I'm extremely excited about it. Folks are already doing it, so it's starting to take off, and I hope that you support those efforts. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to have Ahmir Young, a good friend of mine. He is also one of the biggest supporters and one of the driving forces behind the black-owned business movement. He has one of the largest Facebook groups of black-owned businesses in the world right now, and he also has a coupon book which is going to have nothing but black-owned businesses in it, giving you discounts on all types of things, man, and not just the typical stuff. I mean, everything you can think of, from printing needs to soap to t-shirt to watches to sneakers. Yes, there are black-owned sneaker companies. You don't even know about this, so I'm excited to speak to him. But right now, I want to get to my first guest. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, in my opinion, motivational speakers to ever grab a microphone. He is from Liberty City. He was born with a twin brother on an abandoned building on a floor. He was labeled once educable, mentally retarded. He has overcome everything, and with no college training has built an empire worth millions based upon his ability to never give up, to persevere, to put others first, and to truly make an impact on the world using the power of his own voice. Ladies and gentlemen, Les Brown.
Thank you. Hello, how are you?
Les, I could not be any better. If I had your hands, I'd cut mine off.
Oh, my goodness. No, I think you got a pretty good hand. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. I am doing the best I can with what I've got, sir. First, thank you so much. I know that you've been dealing with some sciatic nerve pain, which has caused us to have to delay this interview until such time as you were able to, get a few things together. And I wanted to know how everything's going for you. How do you feel?
I feel great, and I'm getting better. And the thing is that the sciatic nerve, it's the most painful thing. Back pain is something that it affects a lot of people. And I never had it before, but I can tell you this, boy, it makes you become very spiritual. I was calling on Jesus, Yahweh, Allah. I was chanting Nomi Yoho Renge Kyo. Oh my God, man! It was something else. But I'm through it for the most part, and so I'm back on stage speaking. I have to have a chair. sometimes, but sometimes I can stand up for the whole duration. But it's been a challenge, the growth experience. But all of us have stuff, you know. Forrest Gump said, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." And I
Absolutely.
agree.
Absolutely, and I definitely understand. We all have our trials and tribulations. When you look at how technology has changed from when you first started speaking and you had to, go to different places and do a whole lot of events and go to PBS, tape by tape by tape until such time as everybody caught on to what it is that you had. Where do you think most speakers could benefit from what it is, your methods that you were using then, and what they should do with the technology that they have now?
Well, technology really, it makes it easier for people to create their own companies and to get a message out because of the various platforms. It's something that everybody should become familiar with. But the other thing that's very important, and that is learning how to communicate strategically. Just because one can talk and has an opinion does not mean that you know automatically how to communicate with the audiences inside of each audience that you're communicating with. And so getting some coaching on how to do that so that you're able to connect with them. Because whenever you're speaking to a group of people, there are three questions that's going on in their minds. Number one, who are you? Number two, what do you have? And three, why should I care? And so most people don't take the time to learn how to deliver a message and tell the story on who they are. Because once you do that, now you're able to relate to that audience, create a bonding, and able to communicate with them in a way that you can influence them, impact them, and create a shift in their mindset.
Yes, indeed. And some of the things that you've been able to do and some of the opportunities that you have had have been nothing short of extraordinary. I mean, you're the rated number one speaker on the planet. You actually took over the show for Dr. Laura when Dr. Laura had N-word gate. What is it left, do you feel, for you to do?
Train and develop other speakers, because right now people need a sense of hope and different types of voices. We've been polarized with religious voices and political voices. I believe we live in the greatest country in the world, but there's something wrong when last year more people committed suicide than died in traffic accidents. So there's a feeling of hopelessness. At the beginning of the year 2000, none of the Democrats or Republicans have not talked about this. 2,000 jobs were eliminated from the economy. In less than 10 years, 1/3 of the jobs that exist right now will be eliminated through technology, smart machines, and software. And so people have to continuously reinvent themselves to stay ahead of technology and find ways in which they can bring some value to the marketplace so they can generate income to take care of themselves and their families and also make a mark.
It's extremely important, and I have to say, some of the greatest times of my life, were spent with you, being with you, and learning from you, and watching the way that you would interact with an audience. And I'll never forget. I think we were in Delaware, and you got on stage and you said, "You know what? I know you've heard this before, but I can't get up here if I don't give you the hits." And I think that that's so important when it comes to speakers. And you started doing the story about you and Mr. Butterball. And I could listen to that 30,000 times a day. I have it on tape. I've got it on DVD. There's something about that. Do you feel like everyone should have like a certain set of crafted stories or speeches that they have that become their hits? And how do you determine when you have one?
The audience will tell you. If everybody listening now, if they go online and put in Les Brown speaking in the Georgia Dome, where I'm speaking for 80,000 people. When I did that speech, the title of the speech was supposed to be, "It's Not Over Till I Win." But when I left the stadium, people were saying, "You got to be hungry." And so I realized that people loved the disc jockey story. That was a story of determination and relentlessness more than they did "It's Not Over Till You Win." It's like when you buy an album for a particular song, and then you hear some other songs on the album, you say, hey, I like that better than the one that I purchased it for. So by the same token, what you have to do is, I always poll an audience and people say, I really enjoyed you. I always ask them, what did you enjoy most? What stood out to you? And based upon what they tell me, that's what I begin to focus on to determine what is it that resonates with the audience. And so you always go to the customer to find out what is it that they identify with, that connected with them. Because the goal of a presentation is, number one, to expand their thinking, two, to touch their heart, and three, to ignite them to act. And when you achieve that in the course of your presentation, you're going to create an emotional connection with the audience. They leave there feeling better about themselves, but talking about you.
Powerful. Now, do you think it is necessary for an entrepreneur to also be a speaker, to focus on some type of speaking regimen when it comes to expanding or trying to grow their business?
Without any question. I don't care who you are. If you're working for a corporation, before you get hired, they will do a series of interviews with you to see whether or not the people that you are going to be working with, is it a good fit? Will you be able to fit in with their culture? So you're going to go through a variety of interviews. And if you don't present yourself well, you won't get the job. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how many degrees that you have. That's number one. Number two, you got a business. That business is depending upon you. You got a story. That business, your expertise, your skills, your knowledge, that represents a story. And so you got to be able to tell the story, and you got to be able to get to the point quickly and create a thirst for what it is that you have. If you don't do that, if you can't tell that story in a way that is compelling where people are interested, then you're not going to succeed in getting people to buy into what it is you have. I don't care how good it is. Just like politics right now. Politics is determined on the story. I used to be a state legislator. It's determined by the story you tell about yourself and the story you tell about your opponent. The story your opponent tells about himself and the story he tells about you. So based upon how deliberate and strong you tell that story, that will determine who will get the votes. I ran against an incumbent who was a 22-year incumbent, and I was a rookie and had no political experience, but I was a very effective communicator in telling the story of why I wanted to win that seat from him. And two other attorneys, they ran and they were defeated. I'm not an attorney. I ran and I beat him. I got 26,000 votes to his 3,000 votes because of I was able to tell the story in a way that was compelling, and people wanted to hear more and wanted me to represent their interests.
Wow, that's extremely important. I know a lot of people are scared to death of speaking. And speaking of fear, I want to go back years to when you got the TV show. And what happened and what you think, knowing what you know now, you would have done differently when it came to that TV show opportunity that you had?
The thing that I would have done differently, I would have continued to shop around. It was the first time I've ever done that in my life. The show was canceled, not because it wasn't a good show and the concept wasn't good, but because I would not compromise my principles. They wanted me to be a black Jerry Springer. I refused to do that. And no one says no to the King brothers. Well, I said no. And I stuck to that. And so therefore they canceled the show. But the concept that I had of the producers that worked with me, they took the concept over to Oprah and she took it up. When I came into television, it was based upon conflict and controversy. I said, no, I want a show that would be focused on someone has a problem. I have another guest who's gotten through the problem, and I would have a person who would facilitate the person who has the problem to learn from the person who got over that to get through it. So that was Dr. Phil that the concept that I had on my show. And so I was the first one to have an expert to help negotiate the problems that people are facing. And so it was a different kind of concept that Oprah took over and did extremely well with it. And it could go now, but I had somebody trying to sell me. They say, "You too old." They hurt my feelings. They say, "You old." Say, "You good. You have energy. You're knowledgeable, but you too old to do this now." I don't believe that, but fortunately, because of the career I've been very successful with as a speaker, I didn't really go after it and really make up my mind that this is something I'm going to do next. But I like controlling my own future and calling my own shots. And in television, the hand that pays the piper calls the tune.
Amen. Now, if you're just starting out as a speaker and you're trying to get more paid gigs, you've done a lot of free gigs. What would your recommendations be?
Well, what I did is, and I think it's important for all speakers right now and in any industry that you're in, you got to find a way to make yourself stand out. When I came into the industry and I looked at Zig Ziglar and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Tony Robbins and all these other guys, that most of their presentations, it was focused on information. They regurgitated the information they got out of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Well, I never read that book, but I wasn't interested in doing a presentation that was a reflection of that kind of thinking, because what worked for Napoleon Hill would not work for me. He had the complexion of connection. I have the complexion of rejection.
Okay.
So what I did was I brought stories. That's what I'm known for. I teach and train speakers. You never make a point without a story, and you never tell a story without a point. So I brought a story as the tool to make me stand out. So when people heard me, they left there saying, he became a disc jockey and he kept coming back again and again and again. So people left there feeling better about themselves, but talking about the story that I told that connected with them, that they identified with. And so what I would tell a speaker is make sure that you take the time to get some coaching, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You want to get some coaching from somebody that's knowledgeable, somebody that's been there, that achieved the level of success that you say, you know what, that's what I want to do. And get some coaching and find out what is it that they did that allowed them to become successful. I'm in Cleveland now. I got a friend named Monica Green that I'll be working with tomorrow. And I asked her a series of questions, and I took the notes down on those questions. And so tomorrow, when I sit down with her, I'm going to tape her and ask her a variety of questions to find out some turning points in her life. What are some of the things that you think about and some of the people in your life as you look back that had a tremendous influence on you? Or what is it that you've experienced that once you went through that you were never the same again? And once I'm able to pull that out of her, then what I will do is teach her how to deliver that so that it's strategic, so that it will inspire the audience and encourage them to begin to make some new choices about their lives. So the story that sticks, that story that resonates with people, that's what people will come to hear you tell the story again and again and again. That story about how I became a disc jockey, literally has earned me millions of dollars. I've had, a lady call me to speak in Australia. If you call the Australia Speakers Bureau and say, I want to book Les Brown, they'll tell you it will cost you $125,000 for a 45-minute presentation.
Whoa!
And when I got there, the lady said to me, who booked me, she said, don't forget to tell your disc jockey story. Now, she'd heard it before. She has it on cassette tape. She has it on an 8-track. She had it for years.
Right.
But she wanted me to tell that story. She wanted me to tell that story on stage so she can see it and she can experience that with her team. And so she got her company to pay me $125,000, and I'm grateful.
Oh.
And tell that story, and I'll go back again.
I know that's right. And for the record, so that I can get this out there so people can stop asking me, you are not my biological father. You met my mother once in 1993. I just happened to favor you.
Yes, right. You do look like my son without any question.
Oh, it's the funniest thing in
I
the
think
world.
you're a handsome dude.
Yes, sir, I am. I'll take it. I'll tell everybody, hey, yeah, I may look like him, and I may have some passion.
Yeah.
I said, but I was trained by the best. And I said,
Yes.
I told my mother, I said, I just, she said, what was it like working with Les? I said, Les was great. I said, but it was the weirdest thing. Everywhere I went, somebody was like, you know what? Wow, it must be wonderful seeing him working. I'm like, yes, it's wonderful. You must be so proud of your dad. I'm like, but he's not. Okay. Well, yes, I am. But,
Yeah.
It's amazing, how far I've come, both from being able to work with you and to watch you. This is one thing that I really want to understand. What is your take on network marketing, and should it be something that everyone has, even if they already have their own business?
I think that everybody should have an additional income. Network marketing is the only place that I know of that you can create wealth for yourself. You can look at the real estate market, you can look at the stock market, but in all of that, Warren Buffett is a guy that's a billionaire, but he also has a network marketing organization. And so what it does is it helps you to begin to improve your communication skills, your leadership skills, how to manage people, how to manage yourself, how to sell yourself and how to sell products, how to do presentations before an audience. When I look at my success as a speaker, I can tell you unequivocally that had it not been for multi-level marketing, I would not be the kind of presenter that I am. I started out many years ago. They had organizations called Holiday Magic and Best Line Products. They're no longer around now. And when I look at that, the presentations I had to give, of working with people, recruiting people, all of those experiences helped me to develop myself. And I encourage everybody to learn how to do it because it is dependent upon your abilities to develop your people skills, your communication skills, to be able to influence people and build an organization that gives you residual income and non-performance income. And I can tell you it's better to have money and not need it than to need money and not have it.
Okay. Now, you said something years ago in regards to people going to jobs that they hate. Do you feel like in this day and age, people feel like they have to go? And what do you say to those people who are sitting there? They're on the cusp of wanting to get to their dream, but they're afraid because they've got bills and they've got more month at the end of the money and they got children and responsibilities, but they hate their job.
Well, 86% of people, according to the latest study, are going to jobs that they hate. On Monday morning, not the suicide rate, but on Monday morning, the heart attack rate in America increases by 35%. People getting ready to go to jobs that they hate. That happens on Monday morning. And so what's important is not just quit your job to go do something else. You want to have a strategy that allows you to keep the job that you have and transition to another place where you can earn money and don't do it until the money that you're now earning is smaller than the money that you're generating in this new venture that you're going to. Because, my mother used to say it's a poor rat that only has one hole to get some cheese out of. And so you want to create today multiple streams of income. There's no such thing as job security. And if you lose a job, it's going to take you a minimum of 18 months to find another job, and you're going to earn less money. My sister, Sharon, she's been working for a bank for 22 years, and she even brought work home from the job. And they told her just a couple of weeks ago, Sharon, your job has been shipped to Mexico, so you won't have a job after December. And she was heartbroken because she's a company person. But that's the name of the game. And so today, you've got to ask yourself the what if question. What if I got laid off? What if they said, we're going in another direction? What do I do now? And so you want to create a strategy, a game plan that if they say you are no longer needed here, then you have something. But I say create walk-away money. I was working for a CBS station when I took Dr. Laura's place, and they got on my last nerve, and I didn't like it anymore. I had a caterer come in, and I served them all food, and they said, what's the occasion? I said, I'm going in another direction. I'm going in another direction. They said, what? I said, y'all got on my last nerve. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun anymore. I fed them, and I said, see you, wouldn't want to be you.
A mess.
So I fired them. I let them go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So it's a beautiful thing. And you were just in Philadelphia on Tuesday. I got to sit front row and watch you. And your son Patrick was taping you for Facebook Live. How has social media impacted your business?
Tremendously. I have 1 million people on my Facebook, brown.les. And it is tremendous. What you're doing when you have people in your mailing list, each email has a value of $2,000 to $3,000 a year. If you market to them right, $2,000 to $3,000 a year. And so I have over 1 million people on my Facebook. So if I had a job right now and they fired me, I can market to those people my expertise, my knowledge as a coach, products that I create, or I could interview other people just like you're interviewing me now and get a percentage of what I help that person to sell. So everybody should build a database. Everybody listening right now should get some coaching on how to influence and impact audiences so that people will want to develop a connection with you and build a good relationship with them by providing some service that they need. John H. Johnson, he wrote his book called Making It Against the Odds. He said there's no defense against an excellence that meets a pressing public need. So you want to find out what is it that people are looking for. And it's easy to find that out. What's that there's a service online, it's Monkey or something like that.
Oh, MailChimp. Survey Monkey?
No, Survey Monkey. Yeah, I say go Monkey. Survey Monkey. You can find out what people are looking for, and then you create a product to meet their needs and do it with excellence.
That is powerful. Now, if people want to be able to reach out to you or get some coaching, do you have anything for them? Anything that they could do or benefit from?
You know, I think, yes. I'm thinking I'm about to do an event, and it's called Speak to the World. And they can email me at lesbrown77@gmail.com. lesbrown77@gmail.com. And we will let them know when we're going to be doing that. But I'm going to teach people how to take their story and be able to influence and impact an audience, how to make money with their story, how to monetize it, as well as how to make a difference with their story. I just finished speaking in 23 different countries. And so my mentor, who has been with me for 46 years, and I'm still getting coaching, because you have to have someone in your life that you can learn from, that you can grow from. Dennis, was a brother named Dennis out of Atlanta. He said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you have to get a new group. And so Mike has just been such a brilliant asset to me. I would ask anybody who's listening, make sure you get his book. It's called The Road to Your Best Stuff. And he led me to this Les Brown. I had no idea that this Les Brown existed, but he saw it. And it's good to have people in your life that can see what you can't see. And sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in.
Amen. Amen. So you heard the man. You can email him immediately, lesbrown77@gmail.com. Les Brown, it is always wonderful to be able to speak with you and to share my time with you. So thank you so very much.
Well, I want to thank you for who you are, for the light that you bring, for your voice. You make a difference in people's lives, and I appreciate you as my friend, and thank you for taking a stand to be a positive force on the planet. You have something special. You got greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Now, you heard Les Brown, and it's also very important to understand that there's a lot of growth that comes from having your own business, but most people don't know where to launch. Do not let technology overwhelm you. You heard Les Brown say how important technology is to what it is that you're trying to do. So, Keena Brown at Activation Launch is going to help make the process easy for you. She'll help you plan your launch, set up sales funnels, even manage the entire campaign for you if you need her to. If you're sitting on an awesome course or program right now and you need help to launch it, go to bit.ly/launchbullypromo and schedule a complimentary strategy session. My bully listeners will get a customized step-by-step action plan, so even if Keena doesn't do it for you, you know exactly what to do to start monetizing your gifts. It's time to activate your launch, people. Now, if you don't know, I need to let you know, just a little while ago, I met Damon John, and he has an awesome book called The Power of Broke. And I don't know if you know this or not, but you can pre-order that book right now on audibletrial.com/bully. If you go to audibletrial.com/bully, you can get your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook download, meaning that you can pre-order Power Broke right now. So don't hesitate. It helps the show. It also is going to help your brain. Go to audibletrial.com/bully and make that situation happen right now. Let's get back to the show. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is something I've been waiting for quite some time. My guest at this time is an individual who has done so much for the black community that you may not even be aware of. He is the owner of egrassrootsbusiness.com. He also has one of the largest black-owned business Facebook groups on Facebook, and it's over 33,000 people in it. And he's a very, very close friend of mine. I mean, like a brother close. You know, this man was my manager at one particular point. He is a collaborator. He is one of my dearest friends. He has been there for me through thick and thin. I could not ask for someone who could possibly be a better friend than this man. Ahmir Young's on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Give him some damn love, will you?
Appreciate it, brother. I'm happy to be here, man. The introduction was amazing.
Bro, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be like Steve Harvey. Like when I bring you on, I want to bring you on.
Although I must correct you, we're up to 36,000 members now.
Oh wow, damn, 36,000. 36,000.
It could easily be 50,000 if our people would follow the rules. But you know how that goes.
Yeah. I'm familiar with our people not exactly adhering to guidelines for some odd reason. Now, right about now, it's an interesting time in our life, whereas though you have all these different movements that seem to just be converging on our people. And, you know, you've got Killer Mike with the whole banking black situation, and you got David Banner out here on the lecture circuit. You know, you've got folks other than Farrakhan, Jesse, and Al really taking a lead in what's happening to our people. My question to you is, what needs to be done in order for our people to have the fiscal and financial responsibility necessary to be effective in a landscape where almost every other ethnic group already has it?
Organization and unity, man. One of the two words that I've been stressing lately, man. Like, we're so unorganized. I feel like we could be so much stronger if we were to unify our efforts. You know what I mean? Instead of everybody doing something over here and somebody doing something over there, I think we all need to come together, sit down at one table, and find a way to get us all moving in the same direction at one time. And once that happens, man, we'll become unstoppable.
Hey, I'm with you. My question to you is, I mean, even with your particular situation with the BLB group being what it is, there are people who are and or were members of that group who want to start their own directories like eGrassroots Business, who want to start their own particular groups and whatnot. Why is that? Is it a matter of them wanting to be the leader, or what do you think that is?
Yes, people want to be the leaders, man, and egos. I mean, before myself and Dustin Queenans created egrassrootsbusiness.com, we did a thorough job of researching black-owned directories, and they were all either outdated, under construction, you know what I mean, or just didn't have any content.
Right.
So that's what led us to creating it, because we were like, there's the black-owned businesses, but we need somewhere for people to find them. And then it's like when people came into the group, they didn't like the rules, so they in turn started their own group, but then they enforced our rules, which made absolutely no sense to me. But you know, it is what it is, man. I think I told you this earlier today, man. I'm now focused on the doors, and I can't be wasting my time or energy on those, you know, who don't want to be down with the movement, man. So I'm going to, you know, I got the BOB Power 100 Associates group where I have 100 people that I consider to be serious. And once I coach them and build them up to where I want them to be, then we'll do a BOB Power 200 Associates. We just had Lakeisha Singletary on the other night. She was giving us some tips on how to grow, or how to, you know, have your Facebook ads work organically as opposed to doing that boost post, which Facebook now charges you for.
Yeah.
She was our first guest. Hopefully I'll have you on in the future and a couple other good brothers to, you know, educate us, man. And that's where it starts, with education. You know what I mean? We have to wake up. So each one teach one, man. You know what I mean? So once I get that first 200 built up, then we're going to go, I'll get that first 100 built up, then we're going to go for 200. So it's going fairly well right now. We're going to build organically.
Now, you touched briefly on a couple of things. First, Lakeisha Singletary, for those of you who don't know, she is a business and social media marketing expert. She's absolutely phenomenal. She does a lot of work with a lot of very, very big names, most of which you've heard of, black and or white. You had talked about the rules in the Black-Owned Business Group on Facebook. For people who have not been, what are those rules, and why do people have such a hard time following them?
For one, a lot of people don't read, brother. You know, they just, no, seriously, I mean, it's like people don't read the rules, and then they get mad at you when you enforce them. You know what I mean? I know it sounds crazy, but that's exactly what goes down. I get so many inboxes. Why was my post removed? It's not an advertising group. Right. We have an outlet for you to advertise. Our group is more for networking, helping each other out, referrals, and advice and tips and things of that nature. It's not one of those, you post your link and then you disappear, go to another group, post a link there. It's not that type of group. We remove all spam unless you're an admin, or, you know, as I should be doing for those who have supported. I have some very loyal supporters. I will curb, you know, the rules for them occasionally, because, you know, I have to look out for those who look out for me. Pretty much.
You know, it's to me, none of that has or really will seem unreasonable, man. But I'm gonna tell you what I think it is. I think a lot of times black folks do not like leadership. They don't like it.
They don't like being told. They don't like being told what to do.
No, but then they don't want to do any of the hard work.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really don't have that. The sisters are that group. You know, compiles mainly of sisters, man. That group would not exist without the sisters. I say that all the time. It's more of the men that come in with the egos. I have some dudes that come in and, you know, they want to work alongside me as opposed to coming in and wanting to take over. Right. And then I have guys that, you know, they come in as, you know, portraying that they want to assist with the movement, but in actuality, they're just trying to help me. They want my audience to help build their own thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm a man of the people. You know, I've never been about the money. You guys had to. I think I've only been making money with that group for like a year now, and you and Lem and Dustin had to push me into that. You know what I mean? So this effort about mine isn't about money. It's about changing the economic structure of the African American community. You know what I mean? It's about them realizing that every time they go to a Chinese establishment, they're helping send a Chinese kid to school. Right. When in turn, that Chinese establishment isn't putting anything back into the community. Like I'm still waiting for a Chinese store to come up with some type of scholarship. They don't even employ our people.
No.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm just trying to get us awoke to wake up when it comes to things like that. I mean, you're going to these Chinese and Arabs and Indians and things of that nature. Not that I have anything against them; they're just running a business.
Right.
But we're feeding them money,
right,
to take care of their family, and at the end of the night, they leave and go home. They put nothing back into our community. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to get people to wake up and realize.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a real question. Do you feel like we have a community, though? Because, like, here's what I mean. When you go down to South Philly, you see the Italians. When you go into Logan, you see the Puerto Ricans. When you go by 8th Market, where the gallery is, you see Chinatown. Clear as day. You know that's where you are. Where is the black community? Where is the thing that says, like, I have yet to see, Brother Town?
Right, I understand what you're saying. Well, when I say African American communities, I'm mainly referring to inner cities. We don't have that, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street type of situation. I mean, there's some similar things going on like that in Atlanta, with a high volume of African American owned businesses. But when I say Black owned, for the most part, I'm referring to the inner city because that's where most of us are being taken advantage of.
You ain't lying, brother. It's it's a sin and a shame, man. And for me, I get so I think we're fighting two wars at the same time. We're fighting against the ones who don't know any better because they've been indoctrinated with stuff from other people telling us this is how we should behave. And then we're fighting a war against those who do know better but feel like their answer to everything is removing themselves.
Right. Exactly.
And I told you this off the air. I went to a panel discussion at Temple University where they asked me to sit on a panel, and I'm sitting there, and this woman is literally railing against young people because they are selling waters on Roosevelt Boulevard, which is one of the largest streets in Philadelphia. And I was like, when I didn't have any money and I was trying to get myself together and I couldn't get a job anywhere, I went to Sam's Club, got myself an igloo, a couple of bags of ice, 2 or 3 cases of water, and I was out there selling water. So, like, what's your problem? Like, why is that an issue?
It should be an issue because that's an entrepreneurial attitude, man. Like, I don't know if people know this, but back in the day, people used to go door to door selling shoes, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? People used to go door to door selling shoes, so can't knock anyone's hustle. You never know what it'll turn into. I know for a fact some of them brothers just sell water, making $200-$300 a day, especially on these hot days. And we've had an extremely hot summer, so you can't let it may seem a little tacky to some, not to myself in particular. I mean, the key to running a business is buying something for $1 and selling it for $2.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? So if you're out there doing that, you got an entrepreneurial spirit, and there's nothing wrong. Entrepreneurial spirit, I'm sorry, and there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of that.
No, not at all.
It's like finding a target market. Your target market is people being hot as hell on a summer day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you go and get some water and you cater to those people who are hot as hell on a summer day. That's your target audience. It's smart. It's a brilliant move, in my opinion.
Pretty much. And like I said, man, these kids, man, they do what they know, and I applaud that. Like, I'll go, I never avail myself of an opportunity to get close to people. So if I'm on the subway or on the L and I see some kid and he's got a box of candy, all different types, and he's trying to sell something, be it for his football team or just to raise a little extra cash or whatever, I'm going to support that. I'm sorry, I am, and I don't make any bones about that, man.
Yep.
You never know where your next opportunity is coming from, or your next opportunity, more importantly, to influence somebody's entrepreneurial spirit. What do you think is the one thing that most black business owners get wrong, and what do they need to do to fix it?
I think some of the prices are a little unrealistic. You have to realize that there's a lot of competition out there, and you can't raise your prices just to make up for a bad week prior. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just because you had a bad week prior, you can't raise your prices to make up the profit for the bad week that you had. You can't do that. So I think we need to research the marketplaces more to, establish what type of pricing should be done. You can't just decide. You can't do things like sell $8-9 bars of soap. You just can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm being. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I'm being serious. Like you can't sell $9-10 bars of soap when people are buying 12 bars for, you know what I mean?
$5.
Same price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to compromise with your consumers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to watch your prices. I mean, I know everybody has their price as far as what they feel like their products are worth, and I get that. But you also have to be mindful of, the price range on a broader spectrum. You know what I mean? So I would suggest that we start researching our products more. And also, a lot of us want to advertise for free, which means you're not advertising at all.
No.
Posting a link on social media is not advertising, especially in the days of algorithms. And for those that know what algorithms are, they're it's like a filter as far as what Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all these other, social media giants allow you to see. So you may be selling some soap on your timeline, and you have 3,000 friends. Nobody's responding to your link. You're saying that they're hating on you, but in actuality, Facebook is only allowing about 25 to 50 of those 3,000 friends to see your product. And why is that? Is because they want you to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, wow. Once you pay for it, then it'll open up the audience to everyone. And even then, you have to know your target audience, because people come to social media to be social in most cases. They don't want business, thrown in their faces. So that's another thing that you have to be mindful of. That I think we need to do a better job advertising. People can't support you if they don't know where you are. And we have to get our prices together.
Yeah. Now, what do you think it is, when you go through these hoods and you see, these other businesses that do not live there but have businesses that are thriving off of our dollars? Why don't we buy those storefronts? Why don't we have the type of situations like they do in Chinatown? Like right now, and it's not like I don't have a couple dollars. I can't go buy anything in Chinatown if I wanted to. It's just not going to happen. Why don't we have that?
We don't. We're raised as African American and African Americans in most cases to get jobs and not be entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? We're raised to go work and we're raised to go to school and get a job. And these other races, they're groomed from the door to run businesses. You go into these Chinese establishments, they got 7-8-year-old kids in there running the registers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's why. And another thing that, another issue, and I know this firsthand, is a lot of these cities, man, they give African Americans a very hard time to open up a business. They're very petty as far as like the zoning and the codings and the inspections and all of this other stuff. By the time the dudes trying to open up the store get finished paying all of these fines, they're like wore out. They give up. I know two people personally that actually gave up. I mean, they were just worn down with the amount of things that the city was asking for as far as, having them open up the store or continue it to be ran. And a lot of that comes from, a lot of bribing going on. A lot of people get bribed to turn the other way and let these things go on. That's why you see a lot of raggedy-looking Chinese stores that you're like, how in the hell are these stores still open? I know there's no way in hell they're passing health code inspections. You know what I mean? But the brothers that I know, they're legit businessmen. They tell you in a minute, we don't sell drugs. We don't have that kind of money to grease your palms just to overlook an inspection or for you not to be petty. So a lot of us just give up, man. So we got that against us, and then the educational thing as far as us not being raised to be entrepreneurs, we're raised to go get jobs.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that was a thing, when I was a kid. My mom had a salon, my dad had a corner store, so I didn't understand what, like, people were looking at me like I was crazy for when I was in college, cutting hair and, cooking meals and, trying to find ways to use Temple's money against it. And I was like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, why don't you just get a job? I'm like, I got a work-study job, but that ain't enough money. I got to pay this tuition myself. Like,
yeah, man.
I didn't realize that was like, I was the eyeball. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, like, I feel like a lot of us are eyeballs, or worse yet, we want to do it, but we don't know how to do it. Like, having a website, just isn't enough anymore.
Having a website that nobody knows about is like not having a website. You understand what I'm saying?
All day.
Just because you have a website, that does not mean people are going to your website.
True.
And furthermore, like, we need to start learning how to do these analytics. You know what I mean? You have to do these analytics to know where your target base is coming from. Like, how do you know where your target base is coming from? How do you know what people are looking at on your site? How are you gauging interest if you don't have analytics set up on your website? Like, I tell people this all the time when I get people that want to cancel their eGrassroots listing, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. They tell me that they haven't received any customers since they've been on eGrassroots business. And my first question is, how would you know that if you don't have analytics set up? You don't have analytics set up. You don't know where your traffic, where your customers are coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that goes back to the target audience. You know what I mean? You develop a target audience, filter that down, so you won't be selling coffee mugs to people that are interested in tea. You know what I mean? In teacups.
Yeah, it's true, man. Like, when you look at what has happened for you in the past, 5-6 years since you started on this BOB journey, what's the one thing you would do differently, knowing what you know now?
The one thing I would do differently is I would have stopped the spamming a lot sooner, because I used to be one of those groups that was filled with spam. Filled with just people posting links, and all I cared about was the amount of members that I was accepting everybody just to accept them. I would just click accept everybody because I was more concerned about that number. Now, on the flip side, when I turned it into a brand, I'm more concerned about the integrity of the brand and the content. So now there is no spam, there's no cussing, there's no bullying, there's no nonsense going on in the group, because it's not just a Facebook group, it's my brand and it's representing me. So if I had that to do all over again, I definitely would have done that a lot sooner. I would have been a lot farther than I am now as far as being an entrepreneur. But better late than never.
Yeah,
is how the way I'm looking at it. But if you ask me what I would have done sooner, it would definitely have been keeping the group a little cleaner and not selling out to other numbers.
What motivates you right now?
Well, my people, man. I get the inboxes that I get, man. The random money that I get just because people feel like I'm helping them. You know what I mean? I just had a brother today said he wanted to send me $250, man, just because he said since he's came in the group, I've sent him so many referrals. He just felt like he just wanted to do something for me.
Wow.
The good brother Jude, man, a couple of times he's randomly PayPal'd me money. So people send me random gifts, man, because they feel like I've helped them turn their lives around. I had a couple of sisters reach out, tell me that they were in welfare, and because of my group, they got their product off the ground, and they turned their life around. So stories like that are what motivate me, man. And the amount of money that's staying amongst us because of that group is the biggest motivating factor, because without that group, the money would be all over the place. So now with eGrassrootsBusiness.com, the app in iTunes and Google Play, with the referrals that are going on in the group, we're keeping hundreds of thousands of dollars amongst us, man, and that's my motivation. And I want that to go up into the millions.
Yeah, man.
That's my goal.
It's a beautiful thing, brother. I mean, I can't lie and sit up here and say I haven't made thousands of dollars because of that group. I mean, easily.
That's what it's all about, my brother. That's what it's all about.
It's a good situation. I mean, when my book first hit #1 on the bestsellers, a lot of that was because of the efforts of other folks in eGrassroots and that BOB group pushing that book really, really hard, man. And I mean, 35 weeks later, it's still on the bestseller list. So I have nothing to be thankful for. I have nothing to be ungrateful for, man. I have no complaints whatsoever. Like, I'm truly appreciative of that, and I wish more of us, would do that, man. But to me, I'm so bothered by just the dumb stuff. Like, you don't see this with nobody else, and if you do, you don't hear about it. I'm like going back to that panel discussion. I was there, and then I look over in the corner, right, just standing by the door, literally standing by the door, there was an Asian dude, and I was like, what? I'm like, he don't let me come to his meetings.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Yo, like,
It's
are you
true,
kidding me?
I tell people all the time, man, this has nothing to do with being racist or anything, but this is about our people. All these other races got their stuff together, man.
Right.
They got their stuff together, man. I mean, it's like, and as far as like circling back to your book, being pushed to number one, that comes back to what I was talking about, organization and unity. Like, that's what happens when you get 36,000 people on the same page.
Yeah.
Push bestsellers out. You know what I mean? I think April Stedman, hers got pushed to number one also.
Yep.
To Kenya Battle, hers went to number one.
Yeah.
You know, I think so. When we all move in the same direction, we're dangerous and unstoppable, man. But unfortunately, we can't get on the same page for some odd reason. I mean, you see the little things I ask for in the group. I ask people to go to the website once a day for 10 minutes. You can be on Facebook. You're telling me you can be on Facebook all day long, which is not an African-American owned entity, but you can't stop by eGrass Roots for 10?
Right. How does that even make sense? Right.
Yeah, that's a problem. You're telling me you can't register. You can take the time out to fill out a new profile to set up your Snapchat, your Instagram, your Twitter, and your Facebook, which is not an African-American owned entity, but you give me an issue and you give me, pushback when I want you to, register for egrassrootsbusiness.com. We got 36,000 members in the group, but we don't even have 2,000 app downloads. That's a problem.
Wow.
That's a problem.
Unreal.
And then it's like we always have all of these built-in excuses, man. Like, it's no excuse. Like, all of the things, Taz, you know how much free stuff I offer.
Yeah.
The meetups are free. The guests that I have are free. When you guys are charging thousands of dollars usually to talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got people that send me free products. I give out free products. You know, my black-owned business merchandise. I tell people, if you can't afford the merchandise, inbox me. We'll work something out. You want a bag that costs $20, it only costs $5, and you can only afford $5, send me your $5 and I'll send you the bag. I've been so much, you know what I mean? I just want people to give a little more back. The stuff that I ask people to do is 100% free. And those are the things that help propel us to the top are the free things, and we can't even do that right. You know what I mean? We can't even do that right, so I got to get us all on the same page, man. Once we get on the same page, it's going to be a wrap. Wow. It's going to be a wrap because nothing but good things happen when we all get on the same page, man. And the brothers need to step up, man. Like,
yeah, for real.
I see the numbers behind the scenes, man. Like it's like 78% women that come to eGrass Roots Business, man.
Yep.
Like 78%. And same thing with the group. If you go to the group right now, 95% of those posts are going to be from the sisters.
Yeah.
The sisters buy all the merchandise
all day.
You know what I mean? I made those laptop bags specifically for the brothers. I got about 100 of them made. About 10 brothers bought them. The women ended up buying them all up also. You know what I mean? So we need some brothers to step up, not with just buying merchandise, but we need them to be more leaders, man.
Yeah.
Meet with a couple of brothers every day, man. Meet with a couple of brothers every day and discuss some ideas, man. And see where you can get things done. We also need to start partnering up more.
Yeah.
You got a salon, you got your sister, you got a hair salon, and you know somebody, your sister to sell soap. Ask that sister to put some soap in her salon. Y'all partner up and split the products, split the profit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So many things that we could be doing. You're an auto insurance agent, and you know somebody that has a auto shop. Y'all two should be linking up and sending each other customers.
All day, every day.
You know what I mean? If I go to a Jewish doctor right now and I tell him I got something on my shirt that needs to get out, where's he going to send me to? A Jewish cleaner, right?
Yeah, all day, every day.
Yeah, we don't do that. If I go to somebody and ask them where can I get something to drink at, they're going to send me to everybody else but my own.
Mm-hmm. It's true, man. It really is true, and it's so funny. I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with my wife, and she was like, "You realize like 85% of your customer base, your client base, for coaching and things of that nature is all black women." And I was like, "Yep." And she was like, "Why do you think that is?" She was like, "Do you think it's just because you're cute?" And I said, "No." Quickly, I said no. I said it just has to do with, I don't think brothers want to be told anything. Not all, but a lot of them.
They look at it as being told what to do and not being organized, and that's the biggest problem. Right. Nobody's telling you what to do, brother. We're just trying to get organized, man.
That's it. We're trying to help.
That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to get organized. Right. There's too many egos. We got to put these egos aside, man. Start getting on the same page. Build these communities back up.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if you've gone up, like if you're leaving Frankfurt Terminal and you're heading up Bustleton Avenue, there's this whole strip of Korean restaurants and storefronts, and it's one right after the other, right after the other. There's like a pet store, a dry cleaners, a restaurant, a hair supply place, a tailor. I'm like, and everybody's just out front chilling, and they got their language like up on their thing, so you know that it's theirs and it's owned by them, and they also have it in English.
And who supports them the most? Their
Us.
Own. Their own.
Their own. Yeah.
No, we support them, but if you go to Chinatown right now, it's like 95% Chinese people walking around.
Yeah.
They're doing, and you can't be mad at that because they're doing what they're supposed to do.
No, that's what they're supposed to do.
In all actuality, Chaz, a support black-owned business group should not be even, like it's an embarrassment that group even exists. Like in 2016, that we still have to be conditioned to support our own is crazy to me. Like that group shouldn't even exist. It ain't no support Chinese businesses groups. They do it on their own. They know to do it.
Yeah, because they're taught from birth. It's not an option because to do anything else, it is to kill yourself.
Exactly. It ain't no support Jewish groups. They know to support each other. We the only people that got to be coached into supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
We got to change that, man. So listen, man. We've made a lot of progress over the past 6 years,
right?
But we got a long way to go. You know what I mean? And that's not mentioning there are other underlying hurdles that prevent us from being great because there is. That'll take a whole another show to do over that.
Yeah, man, we ain't got time for that.
It's not as easy for African Americans to just go open a business up. It's a lot of underlying factors that hinder us from doing that.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Now, everybody knows about, Killer Mike's, banking black movement, but I want to talk about your partnership with the United Bank of Philadelphia, because I think it's critical and it's crucial. And I remember being 17 years old when a lady opened up the First United Bank here in Philly. I remember I had to take out student loans, and they asked me where I wanted to take them out of, and I was like, United Bank, and all of my student loans were through United Bank. So, talk about that, what that means, what that looks like, and what your plans are moving forward with United Bank of Philadelphia.
Yeah, the United Bank of Philadelphia situation developed with myself and the good brother Kamari Ellis and Demetria Davenport. She's the person at the bank. She's a beautiful person. We're all on the same page as far as, establishing black wealth. So, we linked up, showed a film, had a nice little event, had an outing. And now we're trying to get, we're trying to have we did that last year. So we were on this kick last year. We're trying to do a similar bank a similar event as far as having a bunch of people come out and open up, African American, and open up their account at an African American owned bank. But what they're stressing is they want to have, the black-owned businesses come and open up accounts there. That's what'll make a dent if the black-owned businesses come and open up accounts at the black-owned bank. That would really make a significant impact as far as boosting the value of the African American owned bank. So, yeah, man. So we're basically just three people: myself, Kamari Ellis, Demetria Davenport. We have the same goal as far as wanting to see African Americans be great. So we just try to, plan things here and there to educate the masses, I should say.
I'm not necessarily mad at that. Right now, when you look at what's going on with your group, when you look at what's going on with black folks as a whole who are staying, staying woke, as the old saying goes, what do you make of what's happening politically?
Are you talking about the presidential campaign?
Let's talk about the presidential campaign, and let's also talk about what's happening on a lower, more local and impactful level.
Oh, well, that's easy to do, man. You got people, who got trash in their front yard, blaming it on Barack Obama as opposed to their city council. That's like, people are so entrenched as far as voting on a president, not knowing that the more important elections are locally, because those are the ones that are going to affect you directly. You can't blame Barack Obama for shootings in your neighborhood. You have a city councilman for that, a state representative for that. You have a local mayor for that. You have Congress for that. So I think we need to be educated on that as well, man. People don't even come out for their local city selections. They only come out for the presidential campaigns to vote. But the real make a difference is the judges, the crooked judges there. You know what I mean? The city council that directly affects your community is huge. Most people don't even know who their city councilman is, man.
I do. King Adam Johnson is my man. You know, he gets a check for me.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But, I bet you every 9 out of 10 people don't have no idea who their city or councilman or woman is, man. And they're the ones that directly affect your community. You got a long way to go before it gets up to Barack Obama.
Yeah, for real. you got your city council, you got your mayor, you've got your school board, then you've got the state legislature, the state house, the governor.
Yep. Then a long way to go, man.
You got the Senate, then you got the Congress. Then you have it's a list, it's a ladder, bro.
Yeah, man. But we gotta educate ourselves on that, man. It's the same thing with the jury duty. Most African Americans try to get out of jury duty, and then they're mad when there's an all-white jury. All-white jury. Most of us run from jury duty. Like, if you want to have an impact on the way some of these cases are going, stop running from jury duty.
Right. Like, what else do you have to do?
Yeah, stop running from jury duty. You can't try to duck jury duty and then get mad when it's an all-white jury. You didn't want to do it.
Right. Which makes zero sense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things we need to be educated on, man. But, I feel like we're making some progress, and slow progress is better than no progress.
Amen. Because, look, you knew what it was 5-6 years ago versus what it is now. It seems like it's a lot easier, than it was a few years ago to actually get people to listen and to understand what you're trying to do and why you're trying to do it.
Right.
So what do you think people can do to help further this movement? What would you like to see people do? How can they get involved?
I would like people to identify who the black-owned businesses are. That's where it starts at. Find out who the black-owned businesses are and support them. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we, as far as like manufacturing and things like that, we just have nothing. We don't have that. That's just things that we don't own as of yet. But, you can do little things like buy some bars of soap, a lot of sisters got natural products, natural hair products. You can do that. A lot of us own hair stores. You can buy clothes from there. Let's stop putting all this money in these European pockets, man. Let's stop running out patronizing these people that do nothing for our community. You're weakening our community by taking your dollars out and taking it elsewhere. Yeah. What's that statistic about the African American dollar stays in the Jewish neighborhood like 30 days, the Chinese neighborhood like 25 days, and the black neighborhood like 5 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, we can't. That's crazy, man.
Yep.
You're taking the money out of the community. So you taking that money out of the community to go to the mall or wherever, combined with paying Chinese and Arabs and Indians all your other money, where does that leave us?
Nowhere. Lost, broke, upset, and angry.
Yep.
Heck yeah, man. I think it's extremely important. How can people reach out to you?
Oh, man, I'm very accessible, brother. People can reach me at ahmiryoung@gmail.com. We got a contact us section on eGrassroots Business. My Facebook Messenger inbox, I rarely reply. It's just so crazy. I really don't have the time to go. I try to go through it sometimes, but it's so overwhelming that I rarely can respond. But the Gmail, the Ahmir Young at Gmail, people can definitely reach out. And I hope people also download the app. It's in iTunes, It's in Google Play. Just search eGrassroots Business, and that's one word. We should have a lot more than 2,000 downloads, man. We got 36,000 people behind us.
Yeah. Absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense, man. And I'm just so happy that you took the time, brother. Please, whatever you guys do, make sure you support this brother. He is absolutely awesome. He's not doing it by himself. There's an army of folks behind this man, and we're just trying to make everything better for us, man, because let me tell you something. People don't respect marches. They don't respect songs. We've been singing songs talking about we shall overcome since before we were born. Like,
Man, I totally agree, man. You want to hurt people, you want to make an impact, hit them in the pockets.
All day, every day.
That's when people start to take notice, man. So I challenge everybody that's listening to this interview or reads this interview to patronize at least 5 black-owned businesses a week. You can find some. I don't care if you buy a can of beans. Do something to start keeping that money amongst us, man, because if you're taking that money to these other races and they're putting their kids through school and they're not putting any money back into our communities, that leaves us nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. So we got to make a change, man. Put the egos aside, and let's start supporting black-owned businesses the way we're supposed to.
That's what it is, man. Ahmir, thank you so much for being here, man. I definitely appreciate it. Do you have any shout-outs? Anybody you want to shout out to? Anything else you want to say?
Oh, you already know, man. My team, man. My man, Dustin Queenan, man, who's the brother that's just pushed me to new heights financially, man. He's turned my whole entire thinking around as far as the way I look at things financially and being an entrepreneur. Lakeisha Singletary, Tamika Goldsboro, you know what I mean? Dominique is a wonderful brother, man, from Georgia. I've never met personally, but he's like my brother, man, because he's on the same exact page that I am. Rochelle L., she's another admin of mine. And there's a lot of other people in the group that have helped me. Jude, you know how close me and him, he just gave me so much advice. Kamari Ellis is a great brother. Demetria Davenport. Also Andrea, she's always lets me use her facility at DNP Financials to hold our black-owned business meetups, man. So I gotta shout her out as well. I always get her name wrong. I hope I got it right. I'm sure I always call her Andrea when it's supposed to be Andrea or vice versa. I think it's Andrea. She's gonna kill me, but I appreciate that sister, man, because she always lets me use her facility and doesn't charge a dime. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Apologies for anybody I forgot. I love all of y'all, though, and all of the people in the Black-owned business group. I appreciate you. Nothing without you. Let's get this group up to 70,000 and let's start moving in the right direction and hitting these people in the pockets and start supporting them.
Absolutely, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here, bro. And egrassrootsbusiness.com is where you can find him. And if you're lucky enough, if you're privileged, and if you know how to act right, maybe you can get in the BOB group on Facebook.
Yeah, because we do scan people's pages. We don't just accept anyone. If I go to your page and you got like guns and naked women and a bunch of fights on your page, more than likely you're not getting in. You know what I mean? So, and also my biggest shout out is to my brother Dave Anderson, man. Every time this dude goes on a national show, a national interview, he got the BOB shirt on. He shouts out the directory. So I really appreciate you for that, man. I love you for it, man.
Hey, man, I love you too.
You know what I mean? And you know, anything you ever need, I'm a phone call away.
Yes, sir. Well, I would like another BOB mug, and most importantly, I need a new BOB shirt because you know the shirt I wore on the Breakfast Club and on Power 99 and a few other places, it's kind of getting worn.
Say no more, man. I'll send you a couple this week, man. This upcoming week.
That's what's up, man. I definitely appreciate you, and thank you for all that you're doing. People don't understand this man has sacrificed so much to make sure that black folks are more aware, have better connections, are able to conduct business in a better way, you know, without taking a dime for a very long time, and is still funneling money back into the business and into the community. So, you know, I applaud you for that, man, because I know your heart, and I'm happy to know you, and I'm happy to call you friend, man. So, again, thank you so much. This is, you know, just the beginning of things to come, man, and I'm so excited to see where things go.
All right, the pleasure is all mine, bro. And like I said, I'm always a phone call away, my brother.
My thanks to Ahmir Young as well as the incomparable Les Brown for stopping through on today's show. It's been absolutely amazing. If you want to catch up with everything involving me, you can do so by following me on Twitter at DA Business Bully, just like it sounds, DA Business Bully. On Instagram, The Business Bully. On Facebook, The Business Bully. You can check out my YouTube, which has thousands of subscribers and millions of views, searching Business Bully on YouTube. And of course, make sure you check out businessbullyshow.com for all back episodes, things you may have missed. And if you have a question, anything you want to ask, need some advice, some business advice, anything like that, bullyquestions@gmail.com. Again, bullyquestions@gmail.com. I'm going to check you out next time, man. It's time for me to get out here and do some things. Keep making sure that you are bullying yourself into greatness. And in the meantime, in between time, get out of your head and into your business.